just so fast forward about a week, about a month ago, let's say now, Maryland has its 100 years of basketball thing, and that team is there, and they're Chris Wilcox, and they're talking about it. And he said, when did you know you were going to go to the league? And he said, well, going to that Final Four game, he said, we're going against Drew Gooden and Nick Collison. This is as good as it gets.
Exactly.
So he said, depends on how I do out there tomorrow, I'm going to know. And the funniest thing is, so the crazy thing is, you had already told me a story about that game.
Uh-huh.
And then they tell the exact same story, though. He says, Drew Nicholas is telling the story, and he says, it's like, so the second play of the game.
Oh, yeah, can I say
it?
All right, because look, so Chris Wilcox, he was coming off the bench, because I think they were playing Taj Holden
absolutely.
and Lonnie Baxter, so I was all like, okay, he athletic or whatever. So
you're not worried about nobody coming off the bench.
Yeah. So I remember, like you said, the second play of the game, I went like right shoulder to go shoot a jumper, and Chris Wilcox came and gloved that shit. You heard me? I was like, oh shit, what's going on? I ain't seen this year. You know what I'm saying? And then I think when he made that block, he went from being a possible a possible first round pick to now he might be a lottery pick. Then he came back down and blocked my next shot. Now he went from being lottery to maybe top 5.
Right.
Then he got a dunk in the game where he was just squatting, and they was like, well, maybe he better than Drew Gooden. I like, damn, every time he do something against me, I'm helping his stock go up, and I'm knowing it as the game is going on. Like, this dude is different. This dude is a little different, and you're right. I think that was his template. Just like I said, I wanted to have to go bust Jonathan Bender ass, and I had to figure out.
You probably had no idea what you're probably just going out there. You don't even know this is young bull who's like, he's staring at you like food.
You did not know, and
you had no idea.
Because I'm thinking Lonnie,
right?
Taj Holden, like
I'm
thinking them. I'm not thinking Chris Wilcox, and
it's like, what's your problem, dude?
No,
like, and I'm just gonna keep blocking everything. What's your problem?
But listen,
you came from me.
I got to meet and know Chris Wilcox after that, bro. And I wanted that to happen to no other person but him. How great of a dude he is. Is he not a great guy?
Absolutely.
And to this day, unbelievable, smart, business minded. I'm just glad that it was him that had an opportunity to bust my ass like that and do that shit and to help his life. You know what I'm saying? Because he deserves it.
Absolutely. How bad did that loss hurt?
It hurt, man. It hurt. Because I thought we seriously had a chance to win that game and win that whole championship that year. But what I noticed was how the basketball gods really work. And for what happened, when you look at the whole storyline about Maryland in the last 2 years on how they lost to Duke the year before, they already been to the show. It's an they were a well-oiled team already. They had experience already at this level. We just got put out by Illinois the year before Sweet 16. Like, we didn't really get to that point. We weren't there at that level. They were the better basketball team. We were just hot, and we were just America's team. They were the better team because they already went through it and they had the experience. And then when you look at their squad to our squad, they had the better team and the experience. And I just remember all they did was play zone, make a miss, which was our Achilles heel. If you could take us out of secondary break, our transition, because we were leading the country in scoring and field goal percentage. If you could take us out of transition and make it a low scoring game, we were done. So, and that's what happened. And I just remember y'all running the flex.
That's all
and then Juan Dixon was special, man. His story of how he lost his parents and where he was at. I was actually a fan of Juan Dixon leading up to that game. Like, dog, like, anybody I want to win this year, I want him to win it. You know what I'm saying? But now we have to play against each other, and like that, I feel like destiny and fate was in our way. Like, we could not win that game because it was too many moving parts for that team. That this was the team to win it that year. That was a special
team. That was a special time and everything. It was. We had the 3 seniors and Juan, Lonnie, and then Mouton, who did all the dirty work, everything. He was
all of this.
All of that. He was the heart and the soul of the team. All the energy.
He's a 6 man.
He's all of that. And then you throw in a bull like Wilcox, and then the floor general and Blake, and all
pros.
So I mean that Absolutely. And then, like you said, then with the experience of being there the year before, absolutely.
Yeah, and when we jumped out to start that game, we went up like 15-5.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, oh, we about. Even though Chris Wilcox came out like that, I was like, oh, we about to win this. And y'all just jumped out, man, to where Juan Dixon had like 19 in the first half. We started sending every double team trap to him. He had a turnaround jumper, right shoulder, on the left baseline corner, and we went. I think I was the second dude going to run out on the double team, and he just hit us with a right turnaround jumper to end the first half. He had 19 in the first half, and we both running off the court. And I told him, I was like, damn, Juan, slow down. That's what I told him, right? Like, slow down a little bit. He said, no, baby, keep playing hard. I was like, bro, if that man's not supposed to win it this year, bro. And plus, he was like 23 already. A
lot of people don't know.
Well, I'm like 23 years old, man. I was 19, bro.
He said 23. That's hilarious. So then the game is over. How soon are you over this in terms of like, I'm in the NBA now?
Quick.
Yeah.
I got over that loss. I tell you what, the loss that hurt me more was coming back flying the following year because Kansas got to the championship against Syracuse and Melo.
Mm-hmm.
And me and T-Mac flew from Orlando on his plane to go to that game. He had extra ticket. Adidas paid for it and flew me in with him, and we watched the game, sat close. And if Kansas would have won that game against Syracuse, I would have felt a lot better about the loss.
Like you didn't let down, like Kansas Nation.
Like, this is my class, these my guys, I got a chip too.
You're right.
To this day, if somebody ever asked me if I won a championship, I would say, yeah, my senior year, even though I was on the team.
Right.
Because that's how I felt. And when they lost, I remember going to the back of the locker room to go talk to Roy, Nick, and Kirk, because that was their senior year. And I started crying, bro. Like, I didn't cry when we lost against Maryland, but when I saw how they were looking, and I felt bad for Nick and Kirk, and I felt like I let them down because I left early, and
like
I should have
been. If you were there,
it was all of that. It was all of that. And I just started, I was crying, bro. I'm talking about literally crying, tears. And I look at Nick and Kurt, they're like, bro, you all right? They looking at me. Nick just missed 12 free throws. They lose by 3. Like, he ain't even tripping, you know what I'm saying? Like,
he said he wasn't even tripping.
And I'm crying like, oh, my God. But that one hurt more than the Maryland one. But that we had some special teams out there in Kansas. But that Maryland team, it was just like, you couldn't stand in front of fate and destiny. They were a well-oiled machine, and Gary Williams deserved it too.
So then now you're a pro. Now you're going to the draft.
Yeah.
That 2002 draft with I was one.
I was one.
Jason's two.
Yeah. But see, a lot of people don't realize this, that me and Yao Ming and Jason Williams all had the same agent, Bill Duffy, and I had inside scoop that if Yao Ming, because there was some issues with Yao Ming's paperwork. Remember,
okay.
Like the government, the Chinese
Yeah,
government,
because he was in the military.
They owned his rights.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
Right.
So it was up to the Chinese to allow Yao
yes.
to enter the NBA draft.
Yes,
and it came to it was deadlock. It came to the 11th hour for to get the okay if he can enter the draft this year or the following year, because a lot of people don't know that Yao Ming was supposed to probably enter the draft in 2003, not 2. And if that would have happened, Houston would have took me 1, because they wasn't gonna take Jay Will because they already had Steve Francis, Catino Mobley, that whole crew, Moochie Norris, and I had a hell of a workout down there, and they were like, we need a wing, because I was more playing like a wing at the time, and it was a possibility that I would have went number 1 if Yao didn't have his paperwork together. And this is all, nobody knows this. It's all inside information. But the reason why I know is because we all had the same agent. But Yao went 1, Jay Will went 2. The third pick was the Golden State Warriors, and I basically told them, y'all got Antoine Jameson over there. I can't get drafted back to Oakland. I'm gonna have the whole hood.
So you didn't want to go back?
No, I did not want to go there, and I told my agent. I told my agent. I said, I'm not ready for this, man. Like, I can't come back.
Have all this money in your pocket and living right in a place that you didn't have any money in your pocket.
And that was one of my best workouts was with Golden State, because they were wanting to draft a small forward, and they didn't think Antoine Jameson could shoot past 17 feet at the time. And this was Gary St. Jean, the general manager, who told me this at the dinner before my pre-draft workout. So my whole individual workout was all skill, ball handling through cones, 3 balls, full court 1-on-1 against guards and small forwards, and I killed the workout the first time. I shot the leather off the ball to where they didn't think I could shoot that well. They thought it was a fluke, because you get that. Some guys go in there and don't miss in a workout, and then the next 4 workouts they can't
hit anything.
Can't throw a rock in the ocean. So I came back a second time. They was like, they want you to come in for a second workout. I don't think you shot the ball. They thought that was a fluke how well you went through that workout. And then now that I know the workout, the next one was just that much more better. You know what I'm saying? Because they just put me through the same shit they put me through the first time. And they're like, well, we're gonna take Drew at 3, but we don't know how him and Antoine could play, if they could play together. And I said, you know what, let's make their life easier. Tell them I don't even want to go. And they made me come in for 2 workouts. I mean, I was already professional enough to not even want to go here and work out for you twice if you thought it was a fluke.
Right.
I was like, Gary St. Jean, tell him I'm off to go to State Warriors. So they ended up picking Dunleavy 3. I worked out for Memphis. Halfway through my Memphis, actually not even halfway through my workout in Memphis, I'm at dinner the night before my workout. Jerry West tells me, during the interview process, right after dinner, he's like, you can work out tomorrow if you want to. If you don't, it's cool. If you're available at 4, we're taking you. But I worked out anyway the next day.
So then you get drafted to 4 overall, and you go to Memphis, and you get traded in your rookie season.
Yeah.
Like, that's damn near unheard of.
Yeah, it is. But if you look at the situation, you heard what Jerry West told me. I'm going to take the best player available at 4. That don't mean if you fit the equation or not. You know what I'm saying?
So you get there, it's crowded.
Pau Gasol was just picked the year before me at 3. Right. He plays my position. Mm-hmm. He was rookie of the year. Yeah. He's we all know who Pau Gasol is now. Right. You know what I mean? So that's who was the power forward. Right. Shane Battier was just up for co-rookie of the year with Pau, had a hell of a rookie year. He was there. Stromile Swift was the number 2 pick. Yeah. 2 years before I got drafted, played the power forward position. So now it's like Kansas, Lorenzen Wright too. And it was like Kansas all over again. I'm drafted in the spot where it's just it's a log jam. And now we gotta battle this shit out in training camp. So long story short, I was a starting small forward when season started.
You were a starting small forward. Yeah. So they moved you from the 4 to the 3.
I figured that shit out. You know what I'm saying? So I had to basically go through Shane Battier to get that spot. Mm-hmm. And got rookie of the month first one. Averaged like 16, 15 as a rookie. Right. Killer. Got rookie of the month. Western Conference rookie of the month. Presented me the award and everything. So it started looking like I was figuring it out no matter what the situation I was in. Then we had a coaching change. Hubie Brown took over. And I think that's when my play started to decline. But my play declined, but I got better as a basketball player because I started learning from Hubie Brown structure, little things about being a pro in basketball, to where when I came in, Sidney Lowe, who was the head coach, when he coached probably about 10, 15 games, he was let go early, and it was a totally flip-flop of the system. And now I'm looking more like I can't play the 3 because, listen, I got to guard the likes of Kobe Bryant at the time because Wesley Person was our shooting guard. He was an OG. He couldn't slide his feet good enough, so they felt better to put him on Rick Fox and me on Kobe. Right. Or me, I had to guard Tracy McGrady, Stojakovic, Sean Marion, and Kobe Bryant all in like a week and a half span, bro.
Running around chasing these dudes.
Bro, I was lost, and you could kind of start seeing that I was in a situation
that messing with your head.
It started messing with my head. Now that I'm telling everybody I'm a power forward, get me the fuck out of here.
I can imagine. If you listen to those are the people that you're guarding, it was just like, hey, I'm not doing this.
I'm a power forward.
I'll be out of the league in no time running around.
And it was mind-boggling. Mike Batiste, who was playing overseas, who was smaller than me, and had more skill at the 3 and was playing the 3 as a perimeter player. They would play him at power forward and me at small forward still. When that could have easily just been like, no, let me get to I'm a rebounder. Yeah. And that got to the point to where they were like, we really need a small forward because they didn't have no small forward. So they traded for who? The rookie of the year, Mike Miller, for me, straight up. So I went down to Orlando, played my.
So you weren't caught. So you were like, get me up out of here. So it wasn't like
we were the worst. We were losing. We were the worst. At the worst NBA record.
Right.
It was. Memphis wasn't ready for an NBA team. It wasn't the best of the cities at the time. We were playing at the Pyramid. We practiced at a Division III girls' school. Division III all. You heard what I said? Not just a D3 school, but Division III all girls. So they isolated us so where we couldn't even be around none of the other students because all girls school. And we had a little ass locker. It was our practice locker. We all had to share. Like we had 6 rookies in training camp sharing one locker. So yeah, Memphis wasn't ready. So I was just ready to get the fuck out of there, honestly. And I had the opportunity to go to Orlando, finish the rest of that season out, and I did pretty well. I finished averaging about 18 and 12 the rest of that that season, going into the playoffs, going at Ben Wallace. Having a Chris Wilcox experience against Ben Wallace because I've dominated him. I mean, it was safe to say that I dominated Ben Wallace maybe 3 or 4 games out of that series. If you look back at it as a 21-year-old rookie, and he would tell you that I held my own against him because he was an animal at the time. He was a superstar, defensive player of the year.
Right.
The man was
several
swole.
times over. Like
he had
4
the
times
look.
in a row. Yeah.
He had the look. He had headbands on his biceps, bro. You heard me? Hey, look. Now, a lot of people don't realize that Ben Wallace had headbands on his biceps, bro. So, and I always like that. I like them challenges. I like that fake because I'm the skinny, light-skinned brother. You know what I'm saying, with the good hair.
Yeah.
You ain't gonna take me serious. You know,
right.
I like that fade. But I ended up playing my natural position there, and then that was all she wrote. I was a power forward the rest of my career, and then the center, and backup center, the stretch forward. So I was a man of many hats throughout my career.
And then even in Orlando, you're only there for like 2 years. That's prime T-Mac though.
That was prime T-Mac.
That's you should probably get it off the glass. T-Mac.
Average. Yeah, no. It's up. If I take the ball up, I take the ball out and I pass it to T-Mac, I don't even have to cross half.
Right, yeah, that's
the ball is up.
Yeah.
It's
not coming back.
I was like, if I'm not getting
25 shots a game, T-Mac.
Facts. It's like 2 assists. But Mac was special at the time. It was an argument then. Who was better, him or Kobe? So you kind of had to stay away from that fade right there. And we sucked again. I was on another losing team. So I started off my career on bad teams. So when you on bad teams as a young potential star,
yeah.
What happens if you're on a bad team? There's always the next draft.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And it's another lottery pick coming
in.
Real high lottery pick.
So we got the number 1 pick.
Yeah. Right,
Orlando Magic. We got the number 1 pick. Who did they pick? Dwight Howard.
Okay.
At the time, we thought Dwight was a power forward. And I was a power forward.
So you're like, here we go with this.
And then y'all just re-signed Juwan Howard to a 5-year, $35 million deal. And you said that he was going to play small forward and I was going to play power forward. So then a new general manager came in and I'm like, damn, I'm in this situation all over again. So that's the summer hit. Carlos Boozer told Cleveland, gave him a handshake, told Cleveland, like, hey, listen.
Y'all let me out, I will resign.
Yeah, you guys let me out, we can renegotiate my contract, and I'll sign back with you guys. Cleveland tore up his deal, made him an unrestricted free agent. He signed an offer sheet with Utah and held Cleveland at gunpoint. Matched this 60 over here.
Right. I think it was more than that.
It
was a lot.
Yeah.
It was a lot. I remember it was a lot.
It's like, match this 60 over here. And this is Rob Pelinka at the time, which is his agent, who's the GM at Los Angeles right now. And Cleveland was like, that was some, like, basically that was horse shit. Like, that was a bullshit maneuver. Go ahead and walk. And Cleveland fans to this day hate Boozer for that reason. And Cleveland now has to scramble. They need to fill in a power forward next to Bronny. This is after Bron's rookie year.
Mm-hmm.
So my agent calls me and says, you want to go to Cleveland? I said, ASAP. I was in Vegas. I'll never forget. I said, ASAP. Call me back when it's done. Hung up. Made a couple phone calls. Orlando blessed me. Traded me, Anderson Varejao, and Stephen Hunter for Tony Batiste.
Oh, wow. That's it?
We were all on rookie deals. Anderson Varejao, they didn't know how good he was.
Yeah.
So Otis Smith traded him, me and Stephen Hunter to Cleveland for Tony Batiste, and it looked, once we all got to play, Cleveland even waived Stephen Hunter. He got to Phoenix and started killing with Amari and Steve Nash. So it was a favorite trade for Cleveland to get me and Anderson Varejao.
Mm-hmm.
So that's how I got to Cleveland.
And then you're there at Cleveland with LeBron. You'd always heard about LeBron. So what is it like now being one of, I guess, what they call it, the Kingsmen.
Well, let me tell you, he was on my AAU team that I sponsored before that, so I already had a relationship with Brian. Brian was one of the guys that blessed the trade. So Brian played for the Oakland Soldiers when he was 15. Him and Drew Joyce. We used to fly. That's when you could fly guys in that didn't have to be in the state, or the states didn't have to touch the border for them to be on your AAU team. So LeBron James played for the Oakland Soldiers. So, you know, his team shoe is called the Soldier 1, Soldier 2, Soldier 3. So I already knew LeBron. I already knew he had potential to be one of the best ever. But that was just after his rookie year, and the question marks are still lingering. He had a hell of a rookie year. Right.
Still got to prove it.
But yeah, I already knew Bronny, so it made that transition a lot easier when I got there. So we hit it off right off back. Like, I got my guy, we on the same team. Let's do this.
What was it like? What you thought it was going to be like playing with LeBron, and then what was it actually like playing with LeBron?
I couldn't imagine how great it was going to be for my career playing with LeBron James, and just that effect he has on guys' careers. And I played almost 4 seasons there. I got traded, basically going to be my 4th season there, to Chicago. But before that, those 3.5 years, people know me from Kansas and playing with LeBron.
Did you?
You heard me?
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
Well,
like,
you heard Durant said about the circus that's around LeBron and whatever the case may be. What do you feel like in terms of when playing alongside LeBron?
Well, listen, his star power, his effect, especially back then, it was like Michael Jackson. I remember being in Detroit. We went, actually in Chicago, we went to the mall. I went to go look at some watches. He likes Rolexes, like I like Rolexes. And I talked to the watch dealer there. I was like, damn, y'all got some heat over here. I was like, you know what, I'm gonna come back with a couple of my teammates and we'll be back. So I told Bronny, I said, hey, let's go to this Water Tower Mall, I think, in Chicago, and let's go to this Rolex store and go look at these watches. So me, him, I think like somebody, one of the other teammates, and Randy Mims, his right hand man, we all walked over there. And when we walked in the mall, you hear, oh, this LeBron. Oh my God, this LeBron. Can I get a picture? Can I get a picture? He walking. Next you know, we're in the store, and it had glass walls in the just like a watch store. A watch store you can see through.
Yeah.
You can see through. And I just remember them having to close the door, get the mall security, and you thought like New Edition was like was in there. You know what I mean? Kids banging on the wall. Banging on the glass. Bronny, sign. No camera phones wasn't out back then.
Yeah.
So it was more of like just people trying to get at him, to meet him. You know what I'm saying? And I'm like, this is crazy, bro.
You didn't know that going into the mall? You didn't think that was going to happen?
This is the first time it kind of hit me of his star power.
And to him, was he acting like this is just another day at the mall? Like this is normal?
It's like he's used to it. Like people have been following him like this in Little Akron since he was 16, 15, you know? And that was the first time I was like, yo, this dude is really famous. Like, he is really famous. It's like the internet was kind of cracking. It wasn't cracking like it is now, Instagram and picture camera phones. And then like 3 years later, that's when camera phones started coming out. And then I remember being in the clubs, and it'd be just like just flashes that nonstop, bro. Like we'll be at a table and it's everybody just filming him, bro. Everybody trying to get him. I mean, not for me. You got to remember, like Bronny was a family man. He got to go home. Like I get to still stay in the streets. So.
Right. I hear you.
I guess I got to catch all the leftovers. You know what I'm saying?
Wouldn't be a bad place to be rebounding. What you said is what you do.
That's what I do.
You rebound,
especially
right?
Offensively.
Right there you go. I hear you, bro. So then, what is it? Your second year in Cleveland, you guys make it all the way to the NBA Finals.
It was actually my 3rd year, 2007.
Your third year.
Yeah, and it was crazy. This is how special it, once again, a testament to him is, he said, guys, we're winning a championship this year. He said it in training camp and said, when we put our hand in this huddle, we're going to say 1, 2, 3, championship. I was like, this motherfucker's crazy.
The year before, where did y'all finish? Or where did y'all go?
I think we went 2nd round, lost to Detroit.
Okay.
And I was like, he's sick. I was like, this kid is crazy, but I'm gonna roll with it. And sure enough, man, sometimes crazy is special. And he led us all the way to the championship that year, man. Got us past that miraculous NBA Classic, Game 5 against Detroit. Scored 29 of our last 30. You know, me and him combined for 30 points. I had 1 point.
He had 29. There you go.
and it was just it was just remarkable on the drive and him being a man in his word is saying that. And then if you think about all the other times LeBron has said that, is actually he's came through with it. Because when he first got to Miami, I thought it was a little corny at first when he was like, we not only gonna win one, but another one, and then two, another one, and another one, and another one, and another one. I was all like, man, you crazy than a motherfucker, right? Yeah. And sure enough, man, he went to 4 finals in a row to give themselves a chance to win back to back to back to back. Then I was like, well, shit, he kept his word again. Got 2 in Miami. Didn't think he was gonna leave. And if he was going to leave, the only best thing to do was to go back to Cleveland and promise them a championship and win one. And what did he do?
Did it.
He goes back to Cleveland, says, I'm going to bring a championship to Cleveland. Went to 4 straight finals again and came up short in 3, but came back from 3-1 to win one.
Right.
So it's kind of like when he says he's going to do something, it's a high chance that's going to happen.
So you love him as a teammate?
Great teammate. Was one of my favorite all-time teammates, just because how he could handle all the pressure and perform, stay professional at a young age, because he was younger than me. So He was almost like we looking up to LeBron when he's a kid, you know what I mean? Because he's doing all the right things.
And did he ever look like a kid?
Nah, he never looked like a kid.
Physically, he came out the womb looking like. But I mean, like, because you got young LeBron, you got 21 LeBron. Did he act like a 21-year-old?
Of course,
no,
we all did. We all act immature, but like when it came to being professional in the craft,
no,
the man was like Tiger Woods.
Yeah, without Tiger Woods' upbringing, isn't that crazy though?
Crazy. I mean, he literally told me since the 4th grade, when he's 9 years old, he never had a curfew. Like he had to figure out where he was gonna stay. You know, I talked about how hard my life was at the beginning, man. It was nowhere near as hard as his life. You know what I mean? Like I had a dad to come to take me to school, no matter how much money we had. You know, he never had that. So it's just unbelievable to what he's accomplished and what he's done from having absolutely zilch.
How many times has this happened to you? You get into a debate, because this is what they always say. LeBron took that sorry ass team in Cleveland. Yeah. He ain't had nobody on the team. Who was on that team? And
I still don't know.
And then you be like, me? You ever say like, I was on that team?
There was a weak ass team if you look at it.
Okay, so you agree. So you're never the one to be like, well, I was on that team.
We had guys that when I look back and I see Sasha Pavlovich, and I love Sasha Pavlovich, but I'm like, he was starting for us, bro. And that Detroit game, I went back and finally look at it. He was terrible. And I go back and I look at the finals, and he was terrible. And then we had Eric Snow, David Wesley. I mean, if you look at the core key pieces of that team, was LeBron James, me, El Galstis, and Anderson Varejao. Now we had veterans that complemented that. Daniel Marshall, Damon Jones. But other than that, I mean, Boobie Gibson.
That's what I was going to say, Boobie. He was just a shooter. He actually came out of nowhere at the end there.
Because Brian, that's how Brian is. I mean, what happened is that was the first time you saw LeBron finish games at the power forward position. So what made us successful and what made Cleveland hard to guard at the time was, to the tail end of the game, people got to remember, I wasn't in the game. It was Anderson Varejao at the 5, LeBron James at the 4, with 3 snipers.
Shooters.
With 3 snipers around them.
So
once they ran that high pick and roll and switched that angle with Andy and Bronny coming off to his right hand or left hand, it was all she wrote. Because once he got in the paint, if it wasn't a dunk, it was a dime.
Right.
And that's how we won most of our ball games. And I think that's how we got to the finals with that system. And that's where you start seeing teams start having to match up against us now, putting Melo at the 4 to guard Bronny. I think that's what altered now. You talk about the stretch 4. Yeah. So you got to remember, 2 years after that, Melo goes to New York. But 3 years after that, he goes to New York, and he's basically a power forward.
Yeah. When you got there, so now, like you said, you're like, okay, this dude is crazy. We're going to the finals. You get to the finals, and there's the Spurs. On the other side is Tim Duncan, Tony Parker.
Yeah, it was Tony Duncan.
Yeah, Tony Duncan. So were you kind of like, so now what?
I was about that action. I was ready to fade on. If you look at I was getting double doubles, dunking on their ass. Like I was with the shit.
But did you think you were going to win?
when LeBron shot that fucking air ball to open up the series, I was like, this is gonna be a long series
or a short series.
Or a short series. Yeah, it's gonna be a long night, but it would turn out to be a short series.
That was game one.
Game one. Bruce Bowen was pushing up on him and shit. Bruce Bowen was pushing up on him, forcing baseline to Tim Duncan, and I was under the basket, and the shot goes up. Shit fell about a foot short of the rim. I was like, and the crowd started cheering, booing, and all that about Bronny. I mean, it's loud in San Antonio. It was game one of the finals. And I was like, damn, bro, this is going to be a long night. We ended up going down like 18 or something, lose by 10. But like you said, it happened real quick. It was a 4-game sweep. We gave him
Tony Parker's coming out party.
We gave him their game 3 in Cleveland.
Game 1 in Cleveland.
We should have won that game. We did everything perfect. Ginobili only had 2 points, and those 2 points came crucial. It was the biggest 2 points of the game. And it was like a low-scoring game, 84 to like 82, 83. Yeah. And when we lost that game, my fucking eyes started tearing. I was like,
that's a wrap.
That's the best we could play against them. And if you look at those games, we played them close. We just ain't had no experience. And the crazy thing about it, Mike Brown just came from San Antonio as the top assistant. Mm-hmm. So everything we ran was San Antonio's. Yeah. Whether it was defensive schemes or offensive principles, everything was straight out of the San Antonio Spurs book. So they had us, man. They had us. Like, yeah, it was just like that. But that also shows you how well that system works. Because you took that system to the East Coast, like Mike Brown did with LeBron James, you're gonna win a lot of ball games. And it was funny how we matched up. But they had us, man. And then the second thing I remember that series is the buzzer sounding off, all the confetti coming down, and Tony Parker and Eva Longoria running, they hug and spinning a circle like something out of a movie. I'm like, damn. And I knew that might have been my last time to ever probably go to the finals too.
Oh, you knew?
I think I did. I was like, because I knew how hard it was, and all my veterans that were there, they were like, yo, this might be y'all last time. Even you young fellas, you might never. Brian, this might be your last time, like.
Because you're not guaranteed the finals.
Little did Brian know he's gonna go 10 times in a row after that.
He's different, and he was in the East, but